What's up, sports fans? This is Jake Waxman coming to you with another Friday Roundtable from the studio. Well, usually I'm here with Tyler Lavalette, but today he is absent. He is out on the western side of the state doing some things for a good cause or a good charity known as Hockey for Life. They help out with people or little kids who are battling cancer, so check them out and support the good local causes. So, with Tyler being absent today, we have a very special guest today with us. I'd like to welcome Jeff Decker.
Well, thank you. It's so nice to be here. I was glad to be at the studio, and I'm happy for your friend doing great causes. That's always do that, especially children with cancer. It's just ridiculous. Let's kill cancer. Let's get rid of that altogether. Let's just get rid of cancer, and we can all have a much better stay here on the planet. But as far as I go, and if you've ever watched this channel before, yeah, I broadcast all the different sports that we do out of WTV10 Media Network. So we've done Oakland County OCC basketball, Oakland University basketball. We're the only station to ever cover the semi-professional baseball league that was part of Waterford. Every Waterford, Kettering, Mott football game, hockey. I know I'm forgetting volleyball. We've done every competition, and they keep dragging my silly bottom out to gab about it. But I played every sport. That's how we grew up. You play every darn thing. You don't just play one sport. You play them all. And that's how it was. So glad to be here. And yeah, it sounds like you've got some great topics. I look forward.
Absolutely. First of all, welcome to Two Guys Talk Sports Friday Roundtable and other things. It's an honor to have you on the show.
I appreciate that.
And I thought I'd tell you this about myself real quick. I am actually an alum of Oakland University.
Oh, I went to OU myself. Here we go.
All
right.
Alums Unite.
I lived on campus and everything. Yeah.
It's an honor to meet another alum of Oakland University.
I love OU.
Always enjoyed going to the basketball games, too.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Great campus.
Absolutely. I fit in perfectly. I was like, okay, where do I want to go after I transfer? And I went to OCC as well.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, I just want to go to Oakland. It seems like a really great place to go to. And
I went so long ago.
Yeah.
I was going to high school in this building, Waterford, Mott, and I started going to Oakland University. I went to OCC for a couple of years while I was still in high school, but then I went to Oakland University. And while I was enrolled in Oakland University, we were not Grizzlies. We were Pioneers.
The Pioneers. I do remember learning about that.
And it was a offshoot of Michigan State's campus.
Correct.
Back then. And, yeah, so I was a Pioneer, but I got out as a Grizzly. So
The good still.
I love that place.
I guess I wanted to ask you this before we go on and talk about the things we were going to talk about. So being an alum of Oakland University, what was your reaction when Oakland upset Kentucky last year?
Oh, if we just could have gone further and further and further and further. I'm like, we're so close. And we've had the pleasure, this studio right here, because there's another show, Dave Llewellyn does a show. He brought the coach on last year, and he was talking with him. And, I mean, there's just so many great things at OU. We were talking about it. I do real estate and appraisal and all that. One of my clients, big sports guy, does a lot of things, owns property in the area. We were talking about this. His son's big in hockey, and because of the land grant that happened 1 billion years ago from, I'm forgetting her name, the lumber giant that gave them the land to build the college, her rule was no contact sports at Oakland University. That's why we don't have a football team, a hockey team. I thought that contract ran out.
Wow.
I thought that contract ran out so that they could have contact sports out of our school, Oakland University. I thought the contract ran. She gave the land in that they wouldn't have contact. And I'm like, she's rolling over in her grave if she's watched any of those basketball games, man. There's contact.
I know.
There's some major contact.
In the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think her name was, I remember there's a name, I think Matilda Dodge, I think it was. I don't remember if she was the founder of the university, but that's a name that's very big around that area.
Right. Yeah, part of the entire. She had married. Was it her dad was the lumber giant, and she married the industrial giant that was trains or something. You would think it should be part of our graduation that
Right.
we have to know Meadowbrook Hall. We have to know everything about Oakland, or we don't get to call ourselves alum.
I know. Even I could do a better job. Remember some of the things that make me an alum of Oakland. I went there for 2 years and I graduated with a degree in history. And even though I'm not really doing anything in the field of history, I have no regrets about getting my degree. Proud of myself for at least finishing what I started.
Great
yeah,
place.
a lot of great memories there. Beautiful campus.
Oh, and it keeps enlarging.
That's what I've heard too.
On a fluke, I drove. I was on University Drive, like coming out of campus and going west. I crossed over 75. On my left is a huge Oakland University building. I'm like, what is this? They call it Oakland University West.
Wow.
So we got more campuses. So I know that the nursing program came in, and that's huge. They also they're talking about doing a full doctoral program. You can get your doctorate out of there. So
it's pretty
they
awesome.
keep buying more land and doing more great things.
Absolutely. To think Oakland University started as, I think, the Honors College of Michigan State, and now they're their own entity, and they're growing. That's incredible.
I love it.
Absolutely. Great to hear.
Great for the area.
Absolutely. Keep on growing, OU. Keep on growing. It's great. Once again, great to meet you, and great to meet another alum of Oakland University.
I love it.
All right. We're going to get into the sports talk.
Do it.
And now, starting with the Frozen Four, things that we didn't think we'd be talking about. Western Michigan is playing for a national championship in men's college hockey. Who would have thought? Here we are. Can we roll the first clip, please? What we're about to see, this is the game winner between them and Denver University.
Love it.
How about this? Many people would think of this as an upset because Denver, the Pioneers of Denver, they're known to be one of the better programs in college hockey, but this was a really good hockey game, back and forth between Western Michigan and Denver, and it ended up going to not one, but 2 overtimes, and the Broncos of Western Michigan just able to find a way to score the game winner and put themselves in. Not only was this their first Frozen Four ever, this is going to be their first national championship appearance ever.
This is huge. I remember I was watching yesterday, like I was telling you, I was watching ESPN because the Masters is on and with all that, and they broke into the Masters and put the Western hockey score. I'm like, what? Wait, Western? I love it. Love it. Break into any national thing with any Michigan team doing fabulous.
Absolutely. It's got to be news all over the state. It just literally, everybody's thinking about it. Even my friend Tyler Lavalette, he was texting me yesterday about it, and he said that if they end up somehow winning this national championship, he'll try to get a clip, and he'll talk about it on our next show on Friday, or not this Friday, but the next Friday, of course.
Yeah.
So few other thoughts. Like I said, went to overtime. Really good game. It got tied up. Everybody was getting nervous, but then took 2 overtimes, and Western Michigan, they found a way. This team's had a dream. They've had a dream season.
Yeah.
Absolute
This
dreams.
could be great. When's the next games? Do we know yet? The program of who they're playing and when it is yet?
I
Not
can't
yet?
answer that question for you. So yesterday there was a game also between Boston University and Penn State. Penn State, who also made their first Frozen Four appearance.
Wow.
Well, it's a good experience for them, but they just fell short against a very good Boston University team, and now this is it. The last last college hockey game of the season, Saturday, I think at 7 on ESPN. It'll be between Boston University and Western Michigan, with the Broncos being favored in this game, from what I've heard.
Oh, this would be great.
It's going to be a fantastic hockey game. Of course, we all know about Boston University, absolute juggernaut of a hockey program. They've won quite a few national titles, while Western Michigan, as we mentioned, they've had a good program for years, but nothing like to this level. Like, they've never been to the Frozen Four, let alone the national championship. And now on Saturday, the Broncos of Western Michigan, they are going for it all. They're going for the national championship. And this is something I learned a couple of minutes before arriving here, I looked up, okay, have they ever won a national champ? The last time Western Michigan won a national championship in any sport in college athletics, this goes back to 1965, men's cross country.
Oh, wow.
That was the last time Western Michigan had won a national championship in any collegiate sport.
Wow.
And this weekend, they're going to have a chance to end that drought and get a championship in a sport I love so much. Love hockey.
Yeah, that's fabulous. That's such an opportunity for them to show their sign of what they've got program-wise for Western. It should bring on great recruiting.
Absolutely. When you have a season like that, and even you get that first national championship, it can change a lot of things. And recruiting is definitely one of those things. I could see that where if they win this national championship, they're able to overcome the defensive prowess of Boston University and win this hockey game tomorrow. They could have a few years where they just get some of the best recruits in the nation. Everybody wants to come play and be a Western Michigan Bronco. We think of Western Michigan as the school in the middle of the Mid-American Conference, or the MAC as it's known. But, of course, different division in hockey. Mm-hmm. Things are a whole lot different in college hockey. But how about this? This MAC school that we know of going for a national championship in hockey, and good for them. All eyes in the state of Michigan going to be on that
wow, that
Western
Saturday game. Woo.
Oh, yeah.
We know where we're at for Saturday.
Yep. From St. Louis. Going to be a big game, and I guess to give a little bit of a preview. So both of these teams, so I like to, as I mentioned, Western's the favorite in this game, but can't overlook Boston University. They're tough defensively. They like to play a little bit slower, so if Western Michigan's going to win this game, try to speed up that pace a little bit. Faster entries in the zone, longer passes will help a lot. Just a few things that I think can help them set that pace. And if they strike early and never look back, they'll win this hockey game.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
It's going to be a great hockey game. And for all those who went to Western Michigan, I'm thinking of all of you. And I've known some friends who went to Western Michigan. So they've got to be really, really, really excited. It's all over the news. Western Michigan with a shot to win their first national championship in men's hockey. Who would have thought we'd be talking about this in 2025? How about this for a story?
That's big.
It's going to be a great, great hockey game on Saturday. So get that popcorn ready. If you love sports, if you love hockey, enjoy the game. It's going to be a really good hockey game. You got the up-and-coming program of Western Michigan against a program that's one of the greatest in all college hockey in Boston University. It's going to be a great, great showdown.
I'm ready.
Me too. Shifting gears. So there's been a couple of stories coming out of the NFL, and there's two that I have in mind today. And this is one that, okay, the first one I'm going to tell you about, okay, this one I'm weirded out a little bit of it. I'm still trying to come to grips with it. I'm one of those guys who has always said, we got to hold officials accountable, not just in the NFL, but across all sports. How about this? The NFL, reportedly, and according to a lot of articles that I've seen online, 3 NFL refs. Some articles were saying they were fired. But here's how I'm putting it. 3 NFL refs demoted to college football with the possibility to work their way back up to the NFL level. I don't know how all of this works, but I will say, okay, on one hand, it's about time we started finally, the NFL is actually doing something to try and make their officiating better and hold these officials accountable for their struggles. But on the other hand, I'm a little weirded out. Like, what's some of the details? Were these like rookie officials who just didn't perform well, or were these actually veterans who have been struggling for years and the NFL just said, okay, you know what, time to go call some college football games for you guys?
There's, now with so many fabulous camera angles, I love going to games. I've been going since my dad was the doctor to the Wings, the Lions, the Tigers. So as a little kid, I was at every freaking game all the time, and you get hooked on it, and then you're playing all of them and all that. But bad calls are bad calls, and the coverage you can now get on television with the angles and everything, you're looking right at it. balls and strikes. They've shown that there's a new computer thing that they've been doing with minor leagues that will legitimately tell a ball and a strike period, and they've got the officials with the earpiece in, and they tell them what it is. They're just literally umps that sit there and repeat what they know is exactly a strike zone. And with the camera angles and everything else, I think we've seen it. I mean, the Lions got screwed a couple of years ago with the San Francisco thing, and they just took it on the chin. You know, did you call yourself in? Did you not? Did you? We heard the recording. He actually did check in and everything else. The other guy yelled something at the same time. That confused the ref. We got the bad call. So is it that, like you're saying, they've got so many good angles, so many things, that they've caught certain people going, you know, you're just not there now. You've made a certain amount of bad calls. Time to go back to getting your, you know, get back into your game. The officials have to be as sharp as anybody, you know, anyways, if not sharper than the rest of them, to get it right. And now with the UFL, a lot of those people are coming up through the ranks to be the officials at different games and functions. So I'm for it. As long as it's not something that's scandalous and all that, it's more that they just got calls wrong. They hesitated too much. They did something. And, man, with all the tape and the angles, the NFL and the league owners and that, the umps, they can look through everything, all the tapes, and review a person. That might just be they got a bad review, and it's time to go back and study up.
You know, I concur. That's what I think happened here. Like the fact that this is happening in April, just weeks before the draft, that leads me to believe, okay, the NFL probably in the time between the Super Bowl and now they did some reviews and looked at some tape, as you mentioned, and with all the camera angles, you know, all that, you know, the tape on the refs versus like the tape that we see. You know what? I think that's probably the meaning behind this. They probably demoted these refs because the NFL said, okay, we've watched your performance, and unfortunately, you made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, you get graded, you know, and I think that's a good thing. You should be. Whatever you're reffing sports-wise, there should be some accountability instead of, well, he just got it wrong. No big deal. Chuck's been with us forever. Chuck, stay with it. No, Chuck got like 6 of them wrong, and we're going to put him back in the minors. He needs to sharpen up.
Chuck, you're going in the penalty box. You're going in the penalty box, Chuck. Yeah, that's a really good point that you bring up, Jeff. I mean, I think this is, you know what, if this is the kind of system that the NFL is going forward, I think it's a good thing. Because I also am a guy that believes in redemption. I would like to see these refs who struggled at first and maybe got demoted. I love to see them, you know, see how they do in college football. And if they can work their way back up through improvement, that's wonderful.
Fabulous.
And if this is the kind of system that we're seeing in place for the NFL, and if this is the reason why 3 officials demoted, okay, that's not bad at all. All right? I've said accountability, but you know what? I do want to see these refs who have struggled. I want to see them redeem themselves. I want to see them, you know, learn some new things, even through going to college football or even the UFL, as you have mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an easy job. I could not be a ref.
No, Lord. Oh,
One
man.
week and I'm out the door. Like,
no, that'd be too much. No.
The people that do this, that work as officials and can bounce this out, it's still amazing what they can do. And they usually get most of these calls right, which
very much.
It's a good thing.
Yep, very much.
The only concern I guess I have about this whole system, if this is the system that they have in place, is if these refs, they get demoted to college football and they struggle there too, or they're not consistent in college football, oh boy, that's going to ruin the college game. And I don't want to see that happen because, you know, college football is complex enough and things are called differently in both. Like it's a similar game, it's football, but things are so much more different. Camera angles, the rules are also different, especially for catches. So if they struggle there, oh boy, that's going to hurt the college football game. And for those refs who just got demoted to the NFL and then they're struggling in college football as well, oh boy, they got nowhere else to go. And
the review process has gotten so much better. You know how they took it kind of off of the NFL referees in many ways. They said, "Oh, we're shooting it to New York," And they have shown the guys in New York with all the monitor screens, and they can, and as we know from this TV station, you can freeze frame, you can zoom in, you can see just to the increment of just did they actually touch or whatever. So it's the review process looks like it's gotten better.
Absolutely, which also kind of brings me to another point. I don't with the struggles of some of these officials or refs. I don't put all the blame on them. Yes, they made some bad calls. Sometimes they've had camera angles given to them where it looks like, okay, that was a catch or that was a fumble, and they still call it the other way, or they don't change the call when it should be called. Mm-hmm. But also, you know what? Look, New York and the NFL. Okay, it's great what you're trying to do to improve officiating, but you know what? You two have to hold some of the responsibility for this, all right? Because New York, you told them to call things a certain way, and the NFL, I'm pretty sure you did the same thing too. So it's not just the officials, all right? They're human, all right? They're just trying to do the best job out there. They need as much support as anyone out there. And New York and the NFL, hey, look, it's whatever you're trying to do here, it's holding the officials. Okay, that's great, but you know what? You got to hold yourself responsible too, because their failures and their struggles as well as their good times are almost as much on you as it is on them.
It's true. No, I think it's great. Now, the learning process as a referee, like you said, I don't want to do it. I don't.
I couldn't.
It's hard enough being the athlete and trying to get all those things right.
Right.
At least I get somebody I can run over to and yell at. What do you mean I didn't?
Yeah. But, yeah. So, to conclude this NFL subject, so far, okay. So, 3 officials got demoted, and, I feel bad for them. But if this is a step towards accountability, this is what it seems like, if that's the case, and if all these rumors are true, and it's a good thing, all right? We need accountability in sports because you know what? We just want to watch football at the end of the day. We want to watch our favorite sports. We don't want to have to be talking about the officials, all right? Because you know what? I get it. They're doing the best they can, but also it's not all about them. And you know what? The better we can help them, or the more that these leagues can help out their referees, the better they're going to do because the more they're going to feel supported.
Agreed.
And that's where I'll leave this subject.
Perfect.
And now, here's another thing in terms of the NFL. And this is a trade rumor. Could happen before the draft or during the draft. There's a big name out there. One T.J. Watt by name. For those of you who are wondering who he is, can we see the second clip, please? This is T.J. Watt right here. He is the heart of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And word on the block has gotten out that he and the Steelers, so far, contract negotiations are maybe a little murky. So what I'm saying is, there could be a trade involving T.J. Watt. The Steelers might be considering trading T.J. Watt. Either that or he may not be happy in Pittsburgh, or maybe he thinks he's worth more than what he's getting in his contract. I'm not exactly 100% sure what's going on. It's only speculation, only rumors. There's a lot of talk surrounding it, and a lot of it based off a social media post, like an Instagram post that he put out there. Like he was putting up, I guess, the peace sign. Like he was saying peace to Pittsburgh. I don't know what's going on. But supposedly there's a lot of talk out there that there may be a trade in the future involving T.J. Watt.
He's such a dynamic player, and like you're saying, a total icon for Pittsburgh. Oh, my God. I mean, you go to games, and the majority of the jerseys in the stands, his
Absolutely.
number. And it's just – but, again, like you say, you get the guys who want more money. You get the guys that aren't so happy with the gang. You don't know – what was it? What the trade golf for who was our ex? I can't even remember. But the golf quarterback trade happened because two coaches were in Cancun or something, literally laying out on Cancun and leaned over to each other and said, "You want to go there? I don't know. You want to go there? Yeah, I'd go there." And the trade happened that we got Jared Goff and they got our quarterback and went back and forth. Is it money? Is it status? Is it you've got certain buddies that are saying on another team that say, come join with us. And it might be something you've always wanted to be part of. there's so much with the trade thing, and I know you were going to get into the next part because I can't wait to.
Yeah, all good. I'm enjoying talking with you about all this stuff. You got a lot of great opinions. So
I've definitely a bit opinionated.
So just to get more into like TJ Watt. So there's a lot of things that may be going on here with this trade. From the Steelers' perspective, they're considering all the things. They want to re-sign him. I'm willing to bet they do. There's just a lot of things that they're putting a lot of thought into, one of which is TJ Watt, as great as he's a great football player. He's an absolute monster on defense, just blows up every offense in the NFL, almost every offense. Like, he's a dynamic player, makes a difference every time he's out there, plays hard, got a good attitude. He's a leader, too, on defense. What Pittsburgh may be looking at is a few things. One, his injury history. He has had quite a few injuries, sadly, and hasn't been able. And they say when it comes to football players, your best ability is your availability. So TJ Watt, he's been battling a few injuries. Now, with that said, when he's on the field, he's always giving it his best. He's always making a difference. Like, wherever the quarterback is, TJ Watt's not too far behind. And another thing that they might also be looking at, for lack of better words, is, I mentioned the injury history. He's also kind of entering his 30s at this moment. I think he's around 30 or past 30. So this is something that a lot of teams will think about. Okay, when you get into your 30s as a football player, your athletic and physical abilities tend to decline quite a bit, and it gets harder for you to play the game. Some guys, they play longer than others, and that just because, they were gifted with those physical talents and all that stuff. So these are two things right now that I think Pittsburgh is looking at when it comes to TJ Watt. I think they want to re-sign him, but how much do they want to pay him based on, his age as well as injury history, sadly?
The balance sheet, like you're talking about, the plus minuses, and it's so cool when you see, and I think it's next week the draft starts, when you see into the clubhouse and you see where they've got guys' names and they do plus minus, plus minus, and like in, what was that, Moneyball, that they did the baseball thing and all that, but the stats and how he's working with other guys on the team, like you're saying, the age factor and injury thing, what's out there and might become available always is another thought of, you probably won't get another damn TJ Watt. Come on.
Right.
But like you're saying, his injury thing, the age thing. Now there's some kid out of Western,
maybe
that's leaving hockey to be a great
played football and hockey,
to be a great football player.
Maybe.
And then they got wind of that, and they can get a lot of dough for DJ. They could get an upper draft pick. They could. So my God, just sit and calculate all those possibilities and everybody that's coming out of the draft and other players from other teams that their contracts up and all that. That plus minus thing of doing the trades and the
right.
But it's a numerous amount of things. I'll bet, no matter what, I'm going to bet that we see TJ Watt playing football next season. I don't know with who.
I'm not going to bet against that because you know what? TJ Watt, he loves the game of football. Yep. There's no question about it. It's just a matter of who he might play for if he gets traded. I have a feeling that Pittsburgh, you know what, this could just all be noise, and they're going to find a way to re-sign him, give him the kind of deal he wants. That's not too risky. Maybe there's some particular clauses. But one thing in particular, I will say, I would hate to be the general manager in this situation because this is stressful. Like, okay, do I keep him or is there somebody out in the draft that I know I can get who's younger and could be really, really good as well? Well, a lot of things that they're thinking about. He could be traded on draft day. Who knows? Yep. For draft capital, which is no small thing.
A lot.
And all right, I'll ask you this question then. If you're the Detroit Lions, and let's say you got a chance to go get TJ Watt for a reasonable price, do you go and pull that trigger and make that trade?
I think because we lost, we traded off the guy we brought in after after Hutchinson got injured. What was it, Johnson, whatever, we brought in the big guy, and he played really well this year. They've already traded him.
Oh, God.
They've already let him go.
That's right.
They already let him go. So we don't have, I mean, of course we want Hutch. I mean, but boy, if you could, can you imagine a TJ Watt and a Hutchinson backfield?
Okay.
Every team's going, can we just phone this one in?
I would hate to be the Bears, and I'm a big Bears fan. I would hate to be the Bears. We're going to have to go against them.
TJ and Hutch feeling good and, I don't want to play Detroit. I think I hurt my arm. Yeah, I can't play today. Because you're going to be
like, I'm bailing it.
you're going to be bruised and hurt.
Just like, yeah, no, I'm out.
No. Sounded fun, but that's my mom. I got to go today.
Honestly, I was thinking a lot about this particular part of the subject going, like, I'm a huge Bears fan. And so, like you, if the Bears could get TJ Watt for a reasonable price, if we don't have to give up a first round, I'm okay with giving up like 2 second-rounders to get him. I will eat crow if that trade never works out. But I was picturing kind of the same thing. You had Hutch and Watt on the same field. I've got like Montez Sweat and TJ Watt on the same field. And like, oh boy, the monsters of the Midway are back on defense. We're ready to make a run.
Yep.
And like I said, looking forward to watching both the Bears and the Lions. I think both of them have a lot to be excited about. New coach for the Bears, of course, and they got, I believe, Ben Johnson from Detroit.
Yeah, they did.
And I still think Detroit's going to be a really, really good football team.
Yeah, their formula is really good. That was the one thing that he definitely kept. Is there's a definite formula, of their training experience and how they work, and those assistant coaches, as fabulous as they are and what have you, they got to pick their brain that whole time, and especially as good as they were. And you've got ESPN, you've got everybody calling in and saying, hey, you want to go be the coach of the Bears? Hey, you want to go be the coach? Hey, Tampa's looking. And here's our coach going, they talking to him? Damn. Pick his brain. Find out what all the secrets are. I mean, you're going to want to learn everything that those guys did and are doing so that the next person, if and when they do leave, could take over relatively smoothly.
Yeah.
The same basic coaching premise. It used to be, and I'd say this in all honesty, it used to be, University of Michigan and Notre Dame and all the powerhouse football teams, right? And then there was the other colleges that were nothing, right?
Yeah.
But that's because they had the best, like you're saying, coaches and everybody around, and training facilities and dietitians and workout and rehab. And then all of a sudden, the internet and everything came into being, and a lot more film studies. So Ginglebot Ding Ding Wong Wong University in Kupascaba Wingwam is doing the same program that the guys from the University of Michigan, and the eating and the coaching and wait a minute, how did Dingabonga Wing Wing College come up against them and do good? Coaches are great, and I've had some really good ones in my life, thank God. Out of this building, Mr. Sam was one of my best football coaches ever, and just kind of a coach in life. But I think once the program's really in place and a lot of that, you can replace a coach. If it's their energy, and we know Dan has such great energy for the Lions. If you get that good, strong, be a guy, let's go for it energy, and you've got the program in place, you'll be all right, I think.
Couldn't agree more. That's what Bears fans like myself are hoping with Ben Johnson. We hope he has even a little bit of that energy that Dan Campbell has. If he's got that, and with all the pieces in place, the Bears could be successful. And that's another reason why I think the Lions, they're going to still be a great team this year because they still got Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the day, by the way, that he lets a lion loose in practice. He said he was going to do that.
Really?
He did say that. He thought about it. I could be wrong.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's one way to
I
motivate.
hope it's a little lion cub and everybody goes, oh, that's so cute.
Like a big lion. No, I'm out of here.
Not the big ones.
All right, to close out this subject, I don't know exactly what's going on with TJ Watt, and
We'll
the
see.
Steelers, but we're going to find out. If he decides to re-sign with the Steelers, all right, good for him. If I'm Pittsburgh, try to do the best you can to hold on to him because, he's had some injury problems and he's getting on the other side of 30, but you just can't replace that level of energy and production that he brings to that defense. And if they do decide to trade him, somebody is going to be a very lucky team. Because getting a guy like TJ Watt, if it's the Bears, I'd be so happy. I'd even be happy for the Lions. I just hope he doesn't end up on, if he gets traded from Pittsburgh, just please not the Eagles or the Chiefs, okay? Just not one of those two teams. That's all I am. But we'll see. Yep, we'll see what happens more with TJ Watt. Now on to our final subject, rolling the football, or now we're rolling into college hoops. So Purdue, the offseason has begun for them. And I will ask this question to my Purdue Boilermakers. So, you don't just want to go to a Final Four in Indianapolis in 2026. You want to go and win the whole darn thing, don't you, Purdue? Well, you know what? If that is the answer, they're going to be working hard in the transfer portal. And you know what? I cannot believe I'm talking about the portal. I hate talking about the portal again. And, NLI and all that stuff. But if Purdue is going to win a national championship, if they want to have a shot at winning a natty, because they open up as one of the favorites this upcoming season. But I'll believe they're a favorite if they do this in the offseason. They need to be looking, because they got a guy by the name of Oscar Clough in the portal. They addressed the center position, which they needed. They had a desperate need for a center, someone to help one of their big man, and Daniel Jacobson, who's over 7 feet. And now what Purdue needs to do is they need to be looking at either getting a wing or a guard. And here's what I'm looking for Purdue. You need someone who can not only create his own shot, but fits in well with the team chemistry and, can be a bit of an enforcer and kind of help this team keep their calm when things don't go right. Because this Purdue team had plenty of times last year, I thought, where when the games, like Michigan State, for example, when they were playing Michigan State, things went wrong for Purdue. And it just, at times, even when things got close, they couldn't close that gap because they panicked a bit too much. And Purdue needs that kind of a player, like a Lance Jones type of player, to keep calm because you're going to have so many stressful basketball games in March Madness.
I'm not familiar with Purdue's group and all that very well, but the transfer portal, oh my God, I am just so anti this availability for transfer. I don't care if it's football, basketball, hockey. This ability. Here's a great school, whether it's Purdue or not, and they bring you in and they start training you and they spend a lot of dough to do this. Kurt Gibson's an old friend of mine. We went to school to get played against each other in all sports.
You played baseball.
Yeah, and Kurt and I played against each other in all these things. And we went to visit him when he was at Michigan State. And I know this has only gotten better. But he had a regiment. He had his room was definitely much better than the rest of them. He had a food card that he went and they had certain things they had to eat. So many steaks, so much other. But he also had the card of how many reps he had to do in the gym, how long he had to spend in there. So they work out, clinicians work out to your eating, your workout habits, what's going on, if there's rehab. So the university spends a load of money on you to get you prepped and really well. And to have these transfer gigs that happen, oh my God. I think I was watching college football last year, and he was at University of Gimbap and went over to Nebraska, and then they transferred him from Nebraska to Tampa, and then he went from Tampa to Notre Dame, and I'm like, wait, he transferred 3 times in one friggin' season? Oh, that's being loyal, and that's where I'm at. All your life you wanted to be a Spartan, or or you went to Purdue, you wanted to go to Purdue and all that, but then all these other schools, and now that they can knock and come, and you can make money off of going to college.
Right.
Schools, well, so now they've got definitely they've got a position at every freaking college of somebody that's sitting there calling all of the local carpet places, lawyer offices, and everything else, and going, well, how much would you pay if we had him do an ad for you? So they have a boatload of money that they can, you're at Purdue, and you're happy it's where Dad went, and you're, I love being at Purdue. Oh, that's great. But now I'm, Syracuse, and I go, hi. Well, how would you like to be making $300,000 on top of your school benefits? And you're going, oh, man. This transfer thing, it's just too frequent for me. I'm all for a transfer maybe during the year at some point, but not when it's already down to playoffs and things like that. I think, especially college, we're talking basically college. Stay with your college program. If at the end of your term, okay, then you transfer. But hearing these multiple transfers in a year, I went, no.
That reminds me, and I'm in agreement with you on a lot of these things. Like, I would rather have a one-time transfer too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever heard about this kid by the name of A.J. Storr? He's been in college for about 4 years, and he's going into his senior year at his 4th different school in his college years.
Yeah.
He started at St. John's, then he went to Wisconsin. He was at Kansas last year, and he's going to be at a different school this year. I'm with you on this. This whole thing just makes my brain want to explode.
Yeah. And here you were, at Purdue, and you came to their house, met their parents, rubbed the dog's head and threw him a bone, and this is so great, and I can't wait to be at Purdue, and this is great. And then you leave and go to Syracuse, you leave and go to Nebraska, you leave and go to Wisconsin.
Right. Oh,
there's no more loyalty. And that's what used to be the thing. You see in old goofy Elvis movies and things, beach blanket, where it's spring break and they go down to, Wisconsin, Michigan, and you were really proud of the school. You and I talking about Oakland University.
Yeah.
But these athletes, because of the pay and that situation that can be astronomical, I think they're going to have to curtail the amounts of money.
Couldn't agree more.
You know what I mean? Come up with a base that each and every program can only do so much. Not he could make $47 billion while he's still a sophomore. What?
Right.
How can he? Huh? If he goes to the right college, and we've transferred him 6 times to get him there. Yeah. There should be, we have budgets in all of sports.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem to have any kind of a budget whatsoever.
I've noticed that too. There needs to be a cap on this, Got to have a cap on how much each school can spend on athletes and in the portal. That, I think, will help balance things out. And you know what? It'll bring back college basketball to the way we want it to be, like having Cinderellas in the NCAA. The better chance to have Cinderellas in the NCAA tournament, upsets, and not all number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament.
Boy, that's a great analogy.
Yep.
I absolutely agree 100%.
And sadly, this is pretty much the portal and the system that Purdue has to embrace this offseason. So here's a couple guys that Purdue, I think, is looking at, and guys do I think they need to be looking at. For the first one, we're going international for this one. This guy is from Israel, and I believe Tel Aviv. I think Omar Mayer is his name. He's a guard, and he plays, I believe, I don't know if he's playing college or if he's finishing his last year of high school. He's in Israel and playing in Tel Aviv, that's incredible. And then there's other guys that Purdue is looking at. There's also Jordan Camden, who's in the portal. He's out of Delaware. He's a forward. Could help Purdue a lot. You want a guy that can make a lot of three-pointers, so that's something that Purdue is looking for. Elijah Saunders, a forward out of Virginia, who I hear is considering Purdue. So that's a forward. And then the last two I've got on my list are guards, other guys I'm just looking at. Kennard Davis out of Southern Illinois, be another Lance Jones type of transfer because Purdue, the last transfer they got, which was in the year that they went to the Final Four a couple seasons ago, Lance Jones came from Southern Illinois, so that would be familiar territory for Purdue. And last but not least, Lamar Wilkerson out of Sam Houston. He's a guard. This one's kind of a long shot for Purdue because a lot of bigger name programs and with more money are looking at him. One other guy I did have on the list was Brooks Barnhizer from Northwestern. He's a guard, but it looks like he's going to be moving on to the NBA, so I think he's out of the equation. So these are just a couple guys that Purdue is looking at, and I think these are guys that I believe they need to look at. But like you said, Jeff, they need somebody who's a culture guy too. Somebody who's just not going to, if he has years of eligibility left, he's not just going to ditch out for whatever check is waiting for him or bigger money, big name school. Purdue needs that kind of guy. Not just a guy who's athletic and can create his own shot, but a guy who's a culture guy, embrace the hard work of being a college student or a student athlete. That's another way I think the transfer portal hurts college athletics. It takes the student out of the student athlete.
You're right.
So those are guys that I think Purdue needs to look at. And there's some guys that I think, okay, they'll fit in better with Purdue's system and as well as, being able not just to play basketball, going to class, getting that prestigious degree. And a degree from Purdue, no easy thing to do. And I used to live, I was going to say this, I used to live in Indiana. My dream for the longest time was to attend Purdue, but I ended up moving to Michigan with my family back in 03, so that kind of, I was like, I could work harder and go to Purdue, but then it's going to cost me a lot more because I'm from out of state. So just some thoughts there. So these are guys that Purdue is looking at, some guys that I think might fit in better. I don't know much about, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about every one of these guys, but I'm just looking for a guy that not only can help this basketball team, but can be a pure Purdue guy.
I think, we're getting back to just being loyal to the university that started with you, that believes in you, that wanted you to come here. And so often, for me, I blew out. I was at this school doing everything I could, and I was training my bottom off to literally, I wanted to get into the Olympics and do downhill racing, skiing, and blew out my knee. And so you've got to think of what you're going, and we know football, basketball, anything, any kind of athletic ability like that, you pop an Achilles, you wreck your knee, you do something, the school comes to you. Of course, they make money off of you because the television rights and all that.
Yeah.
They want a lot of that. But they also are a school, and like you're saying, a degree from Purdue, a degree from Michigan. All these are great things, but the money has been the only talk. And
Sad but true.
I wish it would. I'm all for it. And like I said, had I been being paid while I rehabbed or anything like that, it sure would help and keep you doing it. But these over amounts of money that are just astronomical, some of these kids don't need to go anywhere but college and retire. Why go do it as a pro? I already made all my money. I own 3 car dealerships and 2 restaurants. I'm fine. Absolutely.
Which brings me to this point. If these student athletes are just making all the money they can while just transferring from college to college, are you really being a student athlete or are you just an athlete? Because a student athlete goes to class, works hard in the classroom.
They talk about handing out degrees, so many of those great sports guys are just, they've got their degree in PE, Oh, what's your degree in? Phys ed. Yeah, they just handed it out, here's your degree.
Yeah, that's what I want, with Purdue, in terms of Purdue getting players from the portal. I just want them to get a guy, I want them to get a guy that's going to help them not only make the Final Four and win a national championship, but in balance with that. I want them to get a guy that's not just going to be a basketball player. I want them to get a guy who's going to come to school and go to class, work hard, finish everything, get that Purdue degree, because that's something to be proud of. That's what college athletes, their lives are more difficult than a normal students'
Oh,
lives
yeah.
because they got so much to balance out. And it's never easy. And transferring, of course, can make that all the more harder, like especially from place to place, like AJ Store. Oh, man.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad. It's just hard. I mean, just transferring. When I did OCC for a while there, and then wanted to do the same. I had a photography class or something at OCC that they said, no, it'll transfer over here to Oakland U. We're talking apples, oranges. It was
Right.
complete. No, it's the same thing. And I went, okay, and tried it. And can you imagine? You're an athlete, you would go from Purdue to Nebraska. Well, it'll be the same course.
Yeah,
You do it mid-course. What?
right. And it makes you wonder how many of those credits are actually transferring, or just somehow are
Yeah.
they just working through loopholes? I don't know.
Yeah,
God, that's another problem with the portal. So,
agreed.
I guess to close off this subject, so these are some of the guys that Purdue's looking at in the portal, and guys that need to look at. Hey, Purdue, I want a guy who wants to be at Purdue, who wants to get his degree. Whatever eligibility he has left, I don't want a guy that's gonna transfer after the season, because that's just not how Purdue. That's like for athletics and whatever it is at Purdue. That's just not how Purdue works. All right, it's a tough place to get a degree, and it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy. So those are some of the big things I look at, and you know what? All the things you mentioned, no small thing in what Purdue should be looking for, and getting like someone out. If you're gonna get someone out of the portal, get someone who's not going to transfer again. He's going to say, I'm happy here. I want to get my degree here. I want to finish it here. Everything. I want to finish my basketball career here, or start it and finish it. And while getting my degree, in case this whole thing doesn't work out, because there's no promises that these guys are going to go pro. And most of them are not.
Most aren't. You're right.
And we see guys just sticking around playing like in their 6th or 7th year because of NLI deals and the portal. It's... it's driving me nuts. And it hurts, high school recruiting.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I'm going to close off this subject. So anyway, all right, sports fans, I promised you I would do this. I'm sorry I kept you waiting. I'm going to let our guest Jeff here look at it. This was my bracket. Look at that.
Oh, you did good. You got down to Duke.
Yeah.
You did okay. I tried. I went MSU all the way.
I had to go into the natty.
Out of my office, I came in 4th out of 180 or something that did it. So I feel really good.
You did better than I did,
place.
probably. All right, sports fans, this is what my bracket looks like right here. Look at this. Look at this mess. So many red X's. So, yeah, I didn't do so well predicting a bracket or making a bracket this year. And now with college basketball season's over, the time has finally come.
Oh.
Tearing it up. This is a tradition I have every year for college basketball. Once my champion goes down.
Until you can get them all right.
There we go. Rain and debris.
That was great.
And that is how I close off college basketball season. Sorry about the debris.
No, you did great. That's fabulous.
All right, sports fans, with all that now being said, we are going to close off this week's Friday Roundtable. I want to give a huge thanks to Jeff over here who came on the show.
Appreciate it.
Really, thank you so much. It was an honor
fun.
to meet you and an honor to talk sports with you.
Really a lot of fun. Thank you.
All right. With all that being said, again, thanks to Jeff. And, and don't forget, sports fans, to check out Hockey for Life, the cause that my friend Tyler Lavalette is supporting this weekend at the Hockey for Life hockey game out on the western side of the state. Now, with all that being said, don't forget to check out Two Guys Talk Sports and other things on YouTube, and Two Guys Talk Sports on Facebook to watch these videos. And, hey, anything you guys want to say, any questions that you have or comments, leave it below. And me and Tyler, we love to interact and see what you guys are thinking or have to say. With all that being said, once again, huge thanks to Jeff here for joining us.
Thank you.
And with all that being said, this is Jake Waxman from Two Guys Talk Sports, wishing you all a good weekend. Take care, everyone.